I am Ilya Cobi with the Cobi real estate team at William Ravis, and today I'm honored to have this interview with Deb Fenn, who she is a licensed home organizer, and she owns a company, Bound Home Organizing, and it's very interesting topic, especially during this time when everybody is home and everybody is doing some home organizing, I believe. But first of all, I like to introduce Deb, and like to like to her to tell us something about herself, about her business, and actually how her business has been also affected during this time, like everybody else.
Thanks, Ilya. Great to see all of you. Thanks so much for having me today. I'm Debby Fenn, and I opened Away It Goes, a professional organizing company, 15 years ago in 2004. This followed my being a social worker for a number of years, and when I had a family, I decided I wanted to shift gears and open my own business. I primarily work with folks in their homes, some with businesses, but much more doing residential organizing. And it's lots of fun. I really, really love it. In terms of how organizing in general, and specifically for me, has been impacted by the current crisis that we're all involved in, is that, first of all, people aren't letting other folks into their homes for good reason. So I've been able to consult with people, answer questions, give them organizing tips, and doing a lot more virtually than I had been doing prior to that time. And there's some good pieces of that and some challenging pieces of that. I would say, though, in general, that in this time right now, organizing can be very, very tricky. This wasn't a time that we chose for ourselves. So I think it's very important for us to lower our expectations of ourselves and remember that this wasn't a time that we were going to all hang out and clean out our houses. This was all thrust upon us. And because of that, it's put us in a state of hypervigilance and not knowing which way to turn, financial concerns, et cetera, et cetera. So really keep that in mind. What I would say about organizing right now, if you're doing it independently, would be to do the things that really call to you. Things that have been really annoying you and you want to take care of, well, get a handle on them. And just feel good about doing any piece that you can do, because any piece of taking care of a task right now, in addition to just surviving through this, is great stuff. I worry that people are expecting way too much of themselves and asking themselves to do way more than is really necessary at this time in general, Elia.
Yeah, that's a great point. And since this pandemic broke out, I saw a lot of people like posting in their social media that I'm organizing my bedroom, I'm organizing my kitchen, I'm organizing my garage. It looks like it looked like also a fun at the same time. But what would you say? Would be some of the tips, let's say, for people that's staying at home right now, in terms of where they can start, or how big of the project they can take over in doing at this time. You mentioned a little bit before, but if you can go a little bit on.
I'm sorry. I think that when you said how big the project is, that tipped me off.
Yeah.
Because I think at this time people are taking off way more than they can chew. It's really, really important to start small and to realize that starting small is plenty. If you want to organize the junk drawer or drawers in your kitchen, one at a time, just do that. Do things that will make you feel like you're accomplishing something and that you will feel good about when they're done. It's not a race with all these other people in society that you're reading about on the internet about what they're getting accomplished. The big tasks right now are really about staying healthy and protecting yourself and your family. And yeah, if it'll make you feel good to do organizing, do it mindfully. One thing about organizing that is really great in my mind is that it can be a very mindful experience. It gets you right in the present and it keeps you in the present because you need to focus on what's going on while you're doing it. And that can be a really useful thing when people are feeling worried and anxious about everything else that's happening in the world.
Yeah, that's right. And we all know that. I mean, we've been now living close to maybe 2 months that we are
It's true.
not in our houses, and
Right.
and we still, but we all know that this is going to be over soon. And we are in Massachusetts. We are very close to being opening up some of these businesses, and some of the clients that we are working with, they thinking of putting their homes on the market. And what would you recommend some of the tips of these sellers that are thinking of putting their homes on the market? What should be some of your advice at this time?
Sure. Sure. Well, I guess I would first say, and this is all my imagination because I'm not selling my house right now, but the state of mind of a seller, I would imagine, is to get the house sold and to get the most money with their least amount of hassle in it. That totally makes sense, and you know a whole lot more about that than I do, the state of mind of a seller. I would say that with that state of mind that a person has, there are things to do in preparing to sell that will achieve that goal of getting the house sold, as well as helping a person to reduce stress in the process and creating a better outcome during the whole thing. What I think is important is to pay attention to the whole project. Readying the house to put on the market, getting through the open houses, moving, and settling in where you're going next. It's hard to remember this, and this is what I think is the most important thing for people to know at the beginning. When you're ready to pack and the movers are doing their job, don't take anything that you don't want or that you don't need, because the movers will pack everything that they find because that's their job. So try in the midst of that mindset to really keep in mind that you want to get as organized as you can before you move, because that will help you in terms of how the house gets presented, but also will help you at the other end. Look at your timeline and plug in dates that are relevant to meet your goals. And this should happen in line with your real estate person, of course. Is the plan long-term or is it short-term? There's implications if you're not moving for a year are really different than if you're moving in 3 months. And the time frame and what needs to happen around that can really be very differently apparently. What I would first say, and you may differ than me in terms of the order, of some of these things, but I think all of these are some of the things that I would say to sellers to keep in mind. Firstly, make your entryway into the home welcoming. Have a place where folks can hang up their coats or take off their shoes if the winter's there, or if the weather's bad, or if there's a lot of water. The first impression when a person walks into the house is their first impression, and that's what they're going to hold on to initially. Another thing that I think is very important, and this often grates on people, but it's important to put away the pictures and memorabilia that you have in your home. Now that might put you in a position of feeling as a seller like, but I don't really live here. The truth is, once you decide to put your house on the market and make it open to others, you're kind of still there and not there. So you really need to remember that your goal is to sell the house. It's still your house, even though the memorabilia and the pictures are put away. And when I say put away, those things can get packed. They don't need to just be shoved in some closet somewhere. It is still your home. In general, I would say the most important place to start in terms of clutter are horizontal surfaces. Your dining room table, your kitchen table, the counters in your kitchen, the desk areas where you or other family members pay bills and look at mail, those kinds of things. So you really want to clean off all the surfaces. Now, many people, when I talk to them about cleaning off surfaces, take all those papers and put them in paper bags to deal with some other time. That's an option. And certainly that's an option at this point, but it's not going to serve you in the long run because you're going to need to look at those papers sooner or later. So just start the process of systematically going through them. What do you need to recycle? What do you need to act on? What do you need to put in the archives? What do you need to file away? What are you going to need to use very quickly? And to have a system where all those papers are available to when you need to get them, but not in big piles on your counters. Because those big piles will just keep growing and growing and growing when you attend to them. And the more anxious you get in the whole process, the higher the piles will get. I would next say that it's important to reduce the materials, clothes, whatever that are in your closets and are in your kitchen. People open closets. They open everything when they're looking in open houses. And one of the things that they say again and again is, wow, this closet is so big, when there's room to put stuff in it. A lot of closets, when you first walk into a home, are jam-packed with all the winter coats and the materials that really are not necessary right now, but don't convey an impression of room for the other things. So particularly your closets. And
Sorry, Deb, for interrupting, but yeah, this making out a good point here because many times they ask me, are they going to open my closets? Are they going to open my drawers? And
do people do that all the time?
Do that because the reason that somebody is buying a house is looking for more space.
Sure.
Especially at this time that I see people, like when they're staying home, they're going to need more space. They're going to need an office space. They're going to need more closet space. So the space is the number one thing that people will be looking from now on,
Right.
The more space you create,
yeah,
the more value you're going to add to your property.
Sure.
The more value the buyer will see on your property.
While we're talking about that, before when I mentioned the piece about putting away your memories and your pictures and all of your kids' artwork that's around the memorabilia, have you run into that a number of times as an issue with potential sellers?
Yeah, some sellers, they don't really understand it at the beginning, because I own a property and I know how it feels, and we have all pictures, our kids' pictures, our wife's pictures, family pictures, and I know how it feels. But you have to put yourself in the shoes of a buyer when you are walking into a home. So you have to think that he's buying the property. He's not buying your furniture. He's not buying your picture. He's not buying your clothing.
Right.
That's why we want to show the property in the maximum, way. So the more property they see, the more value they're going to see, and that's what they're buying. They're buying the property.
Absolutely. Really, really good points.
Yeah.
I guess in addition to the points I've made so far, I think it's very important to put away the stuff and pack it or get rid of it. Do whatever you're going to do with it. The stuff that you don't use that often, like if there's holiday decorations just sitting around for any holiday and the holidays passed, they can go away. or the pasta maker or the margarita glasses that you don't use anymore. Those things are part of your life, but they don't need to be out anymore, sitting around. You can pack them up or give them away. Speaking of giving it away, it's really, really important when you're getting ready to sell. Like I said at the outset, to not just throw everything in closets to be packed or to throw it all in boxes and think, okay, well, the mover will just move it then. Throw away the stuff that's old that you don't want anymore. You don't need to take it with you to the next space. And make a pile of materials to donate or to sell. All of the resources for those kinds of things, hauling trash away, getting rid of donations, selling things through estate sales or any other way of selling, I can provide resources to you for all of that. Just asking the right questions to get the information to make it all happen. The last thing I would say in terms of preparing your house to sell is to tidy up that storage area. You know that storage area where you have those big silver shelves and everything's spread out all over the place? It would look a lot better if things were organized on the storage shelves so folks could see, hey, like you said before, there's more space available to put all my stuff. Yeah. So that's in general what I would say about selling in these times. I'm not sure that putting your house on the market and trying to sell, I'm not sure that the organizing tips would be much different right now than they would at any other time. But I can certainly appreciate that there'd be a lot more anxiety attached to all of it.
Yeah, thank you, Deb. And I know that we've been working together for a long time now. And you have helped a lot of my clients preparing their homes, put their homes on the market. And I know that before you could come in the house and meet with them and do a free consultation and give them advice. So right now, I know I cannot get into someone's homes very easy because for their safety. So
Right.
How do you arrange the meetings right now or the consultation, or how you provide them some information about these services that you are referring to or connected to them? So.
Sure. Great question. Like you said, I have had the experience, and we've had a lot of fun doing it, of coming into homes where we talk with prospective buyers or sellers together. And I can do that same piece free of charge virtually. Get me on FaceTime, get me on Zoom, call me up anytime at 617-913-0734. Or take a look at my website, Away It Goes Belmont. And I'd be happy to have any conversation at any time that we can to talk about how we're going to achieve your goals. And that can all happen at any point in the process. Really, my goal is to help you get your house sold and to do it in as stress-free a way as possible.
Yes.
And love to keep working with you.
Thank you, Deb. Was a pleasure that having this interview with you today, and has always been a pleasure working with you. And I hopefully in the future we're gonna work together again. And someone who wanted to reach out to you, they can call you, and they can your website, correct?
They can contact me through my website, which is awayitgoesbelmont.com, or calling me at 617-913-0734, or just looking me up through LinkedIn or Facebook, any of those kinds of things. It's been great to talk to you today, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Deb, and be safe.
Thanks.